Alright, Showtime. Show us, man. Show us. What is it that you've been doing here against Ragnarok that allowed you to win that best of 3? Because Ragnarok is being described as the new hope. He just lost against Showtime in a best of 3 with Showtime playing from Europe. In what, well, I only caught the tail end of it, but it seemed like a pretty long macro game. And, well, the moment I was watching, it felt like Ragnarok was in a pretty good spot. So that makes it even more impressive, right? I turned it around somehow as well. Or potentially, right? Like I said, I only caught the tail end and I really just got a quick glimpse and it looked like Ragnarok was in a better spot. And then it was suddenly in the chat like, oh, hey guys, Showtime won. It's like, what? Alright, I guess we're gonna get things ready for the lobbies and stuff then instead. Stargate here for Showtime. Micro-intensive units coming out of that. This is nuts. This is nuts. I know a friend who would absolutely love this right now. Man. I'm pretty sure, like, you know, this is the like, previously, when you started watching StarCraft 2, this was like the dream, right? For somehow, at some point, maybe there's a European that could beat the Koreans. Now, all of that has happened. Now we're up to a point, yeah, it boggles my mind. I'm sorry, maybe I'm going too much about it, but it's just so cool to me. Getting 2 drone kills there with the adepts. I mean, nothing spectacular. He's not trying anything incredible there. It's just kind of walking in, target drones as much as you can. And then be like, alright, well, I guess that's that. Force out some links and you kindly done your general work there. You know, not really gaining an enormous advantage, not really getting an advantage, maybe, perhaps, even on its own. I guess 10 workers ahead there for a moment. Dark has his 3rd base ready, though, of course. That's going to be a lot of extra larvae. He has his queens with the injects that are spouting out right now, so his drone production is going to take a leap upwards with a couple of bounds. Careful there with the oracles, alright. He's really got to be, like, with everything he does, I feel like he's got to be extra careful, right? Maybe normally he might scoot in a little bit deeper, maybe just go for a creep tumor as he's doing something else, trying to get away from queens, but here, you may have to fight those impulses, because, well, you're playing from Europe on the Korean server, like, man. There we go. 5 drone kills just like that with those oracles. Not bad at all. He's ahead in 1 worker at the moment. He's also got himself 3 bases. Lair tech is coming up for Dark, but I mean, Showtime. It's nothing gone wrong really. Like if I hadn't known any better and you know, people would have just told me like, oh yeah, no, he's in Korea now, I would have been like, oh yeah, okay, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Need to remove the hero tag? I did, right? I guess it was talking about the stuff a little bit there, but yeah, I did that. Charge with the +1. What are overlords in production? Actually, Dark supply blocks here. Did he lose an overlord? No. So a bit of a fumble there for a little bit. Remedies it quickly with quite a couple of overlords. Now a good amount of roaches in production. It's only on 59 workers, so this amount of roaches is a bit suspicious. It looks like he will be wanting to get a bit aggressive with that. And he just lost himself quite a couple of zerglings here across the map. Now that is never great. If he was going eco and stuff, I wouldn't mind that as much. But if he's going to try to do a very aggressive play here. Didn't see the Nidus. Sees another base popping up, 4th base. But that feels quite slow for the Zerg, doesn't it? Alright. There it is. Nidus Worm into the main base. Going undetected. As the reaction for Showtime, yeah, it does take a while for his units to take action here. Actually, he's still not moving. He's trying to gather everything up. They're getting the... Oh, that's why there's another roach attack there. How are there so many units here? Oh my goodness. Showtime was ready on his 3rd base, but the Nidus Worm in the main base. Now that's a real difficult issue here. Notice Nidus Worm allows these roaches from the 3rd base to go into the main base as well, as that is the front where most of the damage is going to be found. And GG is called just like that. Dark takes game number 1. Sorry. Yes, okay. Top left side, Red Zerg. Dragon Phoenix Gamers. Dark. His opponents from Team Big, the German. What's he doing in the Korean qualifiers? Hell if I know, but he's in the qualifying match now. He made it pretty far. Can he make it all the way? He's got a tough mountain to climb. It is Showtime. Which is just a great nickname, isn't it? It's Showtime, baby. Just nice. Right, hatchery first. No probe in the neighborhood to block that from happening. He's just a little bit slower just to come in with the verification that, you know, the regular stuff is happening here. Oh, and Dark actually going to try to just have a drone on that probe here. Doesn't want to manage too much of his worker bees here. Love these little little tentacle arms of those, the crabby arms of those drones. This skin is quite nice. It's a cool drone skin, yeah. I wish more tournaments allowed people to just use their own skins, right? Players themselves have a setting where they can disable the skins for themselves, but like, from like an esports perspective, why wouldn't you want to show, or like, let these people show their style, right? Just have more of an identification, right? You see these drones and now you think like, oh, that's the drones Dark likes to use, right? That's his drones. That's Dark's drones. They look like this. And then, well, this is just a regular Protoss. I guess Showtime doesn't really have a lot unlocked, perhaps, on his Korean account. Which I don't blame him for that. Which makes this even more impressive, right? Because I don't know how much practice he gets playing on the Korean ladder from Germany. But, yeah. Well, perhaps that previous game, of course, not really a clear standard of what has been going on here. Now it's just kind of Dark deciding, you know what, it's time to kill this man. Phoenix. Straight up into the Phoenix. I don't know, a Void Ray here to clear out the Overlords. The old school Phoenix instead. At least it still sees that this is being mined out. You know that Showtime is making the commitment to clearing it out, so very likely that a Nexus will be popping up there. And seeing the plans for Showtime to have a third base. Of course, now not going for this Nexus at this point after that scout. I mean, whew, that would be a bit of a gambit. Doing something else entirely. I'm not even sure what you could still hit from there. What kind of real timing there is still. Well, anyway, it's just all hypotheticals, right? None of that happened. He still just kind of goes for the Nexus. Hunts down some more Overlords. Oracle doing a bit of tagging here and there. Graffitiing up the place. Those Vandals, look at that. Protoss graffiti all over. Well, it gets a couple of creep tumors. Unfortunately, not this one, of course. The important one is kind of connecting both creep sides here and still allowing more creep tumors to spawn further out. Dark playing a vigilant game here. He seems to be droning up a little bit quicker than the previous game. He's only lost 3 drones as well, of course, so far. Definitely helping him out a little bit. Showtime, no slouch, however. Still a pretty good economy himself. Oracle in trouble. He gets him out of there. Some more Immortals. Could potentially see a push here happen not in the too fast distant future. Charge coming up. Archons will be a part of this. With the 2 Immortals, can be a powerful army. And then with Dark going for Swarmos, I kind of liked it with, you know, Showtime at least having the opportunity to be across the map. And as long as he's across the map, he may have a chance that the Swarmos will have to be used defensively here, right? If that happens, then every time they get used, he has all this space to just move backwards. And those Locusts, they're gonna run out their clock, their biological timer, and that's gonna be all they wrote. So yeah, here we go, already a little bit. Dark playing it wisely though, only setting off 3 of those swarm hosts. Now setting off all of them. This is still quite a bit of a distance to cover to get himself into this pocket base. But those Locusts are going to get there still. Targeting down the static defenses first and straight up going after some probes afterwards. Kind of getting what he can. 6 probes, not too shabby. Definitely a nice start for him there. He's got himself a good base amount back at home. That pocket base of his still potentially ready to be taken, but it's a bit of a tricky one to take, right? Because it's just such a long distance to walk from this base to like all the way around over here. And yeah, it's just like Showtime is indicating right now, prime real estate for War Prisms to fly in. Zealot attack this time around, not going to be able to do much, however, as Locusts are coming into this base right here. Ooh, Ooh, a nice stasis, keeping them all in check. It's still gonna be there, of course, after they run out. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, actually, they do just die. All right. How did I not know that? I thought stasis would always just kind of stop units from having their abilities or things continuing. Which is, no, I guess I'm wrong. Shows that I don't play Rebels, does it? And they come again. Yep. That's a big amount of damage actually coming through the Wall Prism, trying to bring everything back to safety. That's getting low, but Archons are going down. Wall Prism Micro, very difficult for Showtime here. Because everything is going to be delayed, all his inputs. This is just a rough spot for him to be at. Does he already have Storm? No, he doesn't. If he had Storm, that would be fantastic against the Swarm Host. He could just kind of trade his energy against the, well, the spell cooldown of the Locust. Nicely played. Knows about the stasis traps, and he's not going to have that happen again to him. Sets it off with 2 and will just demolish the base with the rest. Sets up even a Nidus Worm in the area as well. He's going to have to force Showtime to send some units over there to just deal with it. As a formidable army here as well, however. The Swarm Host not quite ready with their Locust yet. They almost will be. This army for Showtime is definitely making some headway. The Roaches alone not enough to have the DPS to take care of all these Archons and all these Immortals here. Accompanied by an ocean of bodyguarding zealots. Careful Showtime. Alright, nice pickups there. Can get this force out of this location and out go the Locust there. Gone now. He can turn around, start being aggressive again if he wants to. Probably if he gets all the way back here, the Locust will be back again as well. Single Roach. Showtime not taking the time to really deal with it for the moment. Ah, there it is. Okay, there's the warp in. I like this. The Warp Prism going to the side. One great way to deal with these Swarm Hosts as well is just attacking in multiple angles. You can only summon the Locust in one area, and it's a very long distance walk elsewhere. And if you attack 2 areas, you can always just move away from one, wherever the Locusts are, and then keep attacking in the other. Alright, still no base there, however, to really harass, unfortunately for Showtime, as well, things are starting to look a little bit bleak. He's losing a Nexus right here once more. The Nexus falls. 12 probes go down with it. Nidus Worms still popping up left, right, and center. As this Warp Prism, well, I mean, this is probably not the place where he's going to get anything done here either. Dark will not allow this to happen. Dark will just not have it. He is not gonna have Showtime have this story to tell all his StarCraft friends. How he joined the Korean qualifier and just beat it all the Koreans. No. Dark's not having it. He's there. He is there to defend their honor. Unfortunately for Showtime, man. He still has a bit of a shot, right? I mean, he's not out of it yet. It is the best of 5. But Dark, I mean, I don't see him losing this one. And then with the way the first game and this game have gone, it's... Oof. It's hard to envision a victory here for Showtime in another way. Oh, he catches a lot of Roaches here. There's some Ravagers too. What's left really there for Dark? There is a couple of Lurkers. A lot of Spine Crawlers as well, just spread out all over the place. Look at that. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of spine crawlers. He knows he's gonna be weak at home because he has those swarm hosts and makes up for that fact with all this static defense. Swarm host back outside again. This is the real story, isn't it? Nexus lives. But, yeah, Showtime doesn't. Nexus lives, but Showtime doesn't. GG is called. Dark takes 2 games in a row. The first Oracle will be about to be on the field. Should give us a nice thing to look at. Pink Floyd laser concerts will be starting then. Something they did in the 70s. I don't even know if Pink Floyd was there live as well. I imagine they were, right? Now it's just at every show that lasers, I suppose. Every big concert has lasers. But back then, it was a big deal. I've never seen it myself, unfortunately. In fact, I think I've only heard people say that they wanted to go there and then didn't go there for some reason. Anyway, not much happening yet with those oracles. Single drone and 2 Zerglings have perished, and that's about it. These guys just going along their regular track of making everything they need for a game of StarCraft 2. Try to get everything as quickly as possible, expand that economy, try to be safe while you do so, and, well, try to just absolutely frustrate the living hell out of your opponent who's trying to do the same things as you on the opposite side of the field. Oh, careful there. Oracles trying their best to stay safe. These depths as well having a bit of a trouble in time. One of them does fall, and the other one, well, it's a bit battered. Oracle's looking for more victims here, potentially, but well, Dark too good with the zoning. They kind of started to feel low HP, and Showtime just doesn't want to quite risk it anymore. And who can blame him? Right. Okay, Showtime's still careful. Again, right, not much happening with those oracles, which can be a big deal. I mean, this is Dark he's up against. If you let him do his thing, he's gonna be in a really good spot. He is synonymous with playing from behind, and oh dear, 2 oracles do go down. A little bit close together. Difficult to really get themselves through the 3 Zerg bases there. Queens on each side and Spore Crawlers to boot. Very difficult airspace to navigate there for those oracles, and well, they pay the price. 4th base for Showtime coming up as well. How come Showtime is playing in the Korean qualifiers? I'm glad you asked. He is just that badass, alright? He just is. He's just... This is his choice. He was like, you know what? Let's give it a go. The only rule restriction in these qualifications is that the Korean qualifiers are played on the Korean server. The European qualifiers are played on the European servers. The American, you know the drill, right? And here's Showtime, looking at the possibilities. Didn't quite make it in the European qualifiers. He already tried, actually, the previous Korean qualifiers. I saw him in that bracket as well. Now, I didn't see him play that time. I think he didn't get that far, or maybe he signed out afterwards, still thinking to make it in the second EU qualifiers. But here he is, man. He made it through the winner's bracket to the qualifying match. But well, you can tell the story from there. you can see what's the story has been since this final match has started. It is rough. But it's so cool to me that Showtime managing to get this far. A European beating the Koreans from Europe on the Korean servers in an online tournament. It's a bit silly, but Showtime, you know what? This feels like Showtime doing that, like, versus 9 cheating insane AI challenge thingamajig, right? This is Showtime trying to do his own thing here. I'm sure he's working on a YouTube series right now. Beating high-profile Koreans in Korean tournaments and Korean servers. Well, Dark's gonna try his best to stay out of that YouTube series here. Does Showtime make YouTube? I know he streams a lot, so maybe he uploads like VODs or something. I don't know. I've not found his YouTube channel anyway. Should look that up actually. Because it seems like he has some pretty cool stuff going on. 2 Spires coming up for Dark as the carrier transition is approaching pretty quickly here for Showtime. Needs to be careful, however. This ground army for Dark quite strong up into the, well, near 200 supply. It's gonna definitely pack a punch. Carriers trying to make their way over, and Dark, you know, the thing for him is that he needs to free up supply, right? He needs to have more supply available before he can make stuff that actually counters these carriers. So, for him, this is all groovy, man. This is all fantastic. Of course, he wants to be trading somewhat efficiently. Not entirely just throw it away, but I'll just get some stuff traded, and you know, it's a little bit apart here, but it's nothing too bad. But he does lose a base. He did just lose a base. And well, no, he has more gas. Does he not have larvae? No, he's 20 larvae. I wonder why. Okay, there we go. There's the spike in Corruptus. Maybe he was just wanted to verify something else before he really committed to Corruptus. I don't know. But yeah, he only has the money for 9 Corruptus here. It's gonna be more later down the line, I'm sure. But we're already on 4 carriers. 2 more about to be ready. And there's 3 at a time being produced. We got Archons there. We got Storm there as well to help defend against those Corruptors. The Vipers are gonna have to be a big part of this. Parasitic Bomb crucial to really take care of those carriers, right? Parasitic Bomb the carrier, then you fly in the Corruptors so that the Interceptors all go into the Parasitic Bomb. And then poof, 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 all the Interceptors go down. That's the strategy. So Showtime's gonna be a bit careful. You don't want to spread the carriers out either, because then they just get harpooned and targeted down individually, one by one. It's a difficult thing. You just kind of want to burst down those Corruptors as quickly as possible, so you'll interceptors aren't actually trying to target fire something, you know, in an area that's actively killing them. Targeting the Grand Army as well, right? But then you don't really have to DPS against the corruptors there that you would like. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. Well, anyway, let's see how this unfolds, right? Let's see how they both manage to get their micro going here. Too careful. Lurkers are in the ground, really claiming some space there for Dark, and making it hard for the anti-air hit squadron of Archons and Templar to move further forwards. He's just slowly gonna storm his way forwards, perhaps? No, okay. Moves back around. He's just gonna go for another approach. Or, no, he is still gonna move forwards here. Alright, Archons and Immortals going for it. Archons are getting a little bit low. Those Corruptors are eyeing up the, well, Carriers. Carriers don't have that many interceptors anymore. Ooh, and he leads. Ooh, ouchie. Okay, that was visceral, man. That was, his supply is still okay somehow. I guess he did kill off quite a lot of ground units, right? But he's behind in the resources lost tab. Income's been in his favor, though. I guess that is the big thing here. He just had a bigger bank. He's been the Zerg in this situation somehow, and Dark's been the Protoss. With all the spellcasters killing everything of Showtime. It's a bit silly, right? Sometimes this game, how much it comes down to just the individual playing rather than what race they are. Okay, what are we still producing here for Showtime? Getting all the upgrades in order. Dark is still making quite a few drones, as he's only been on like, what, 78 at this moment? And that's after more drones came in. He's been on a low drone count, man. It's not like he lost any either, he's only lost 3 of them in total. So he's just been very slow with getting his money, but I mean, he's been having enough money to hold, so he's had all he needs, right? Gotta be careful there. Ooh, a big storm on that Corruptor plum. Gotta be careful. Nice feedbacks on the Vipers, but the Corruptor still managed to, well, get on top of the Carriers, and so did a Parasitic Bomb. And that looks like it's gonna be the end of the Carriers here. A small batch of Protoss ground forces remain. All have to do the walk of shame back home here. You believe me, you don't feel great about moving back like this. Just a bare minimum of what you walked in with. That is gonna be rough. Dark taking a definitive supply lead with that engagement right there as well. Showtime still has some money in the bank, but most of it is minerals. We still have 9 lurkers available as well, which are on both of these locations. That's, you know, this is kind of what comes up in your mind, like, okay, what can Showtime still do in this position? Well, maybe Zealot run-bys, right? And then these are the areas where you would most likely hit, and that's not an area where it looks like Zealot run-bys are gonna get much done. Maybe the other bases. Maybe that's the way to do it here. But then, well, never mind. Look at that amount of lurkers that's over here. It's ridiculous. Sends in 2 of those zealots. I don't know if he meant to send in 3, but sends in 2. Keeping check on the expansions of Dark as well. He realizes that, you know, Dark isn't set up that economically strong. It is still a match because of this. His bank is not fantastic. If he beats Dark's army, then, well, if it went convincingly enough, he is, I feel like, almost guaranteed damage across the map. Though that bank of Dark is slowly rising now, as SHOWTIME is trying to just, well, withstand the slow approach of those lurkers. Deals with one of those lurkers. Nice tag there from the Oracle. The Void Rays try to come in, try to burn through everything that they can. And most of his army is lurkers and corruptors, so they should be good targets for the Void Rays. Mothership call coming up. The flux thingamajig for the Void Rays are coming up as well. SHOWTIME's definitely still in this, and so is Dark. Something that is noteworthy is that, in fact, SHOWTIME ahead in bases is going to try to take one of Dark's bases. If that ever happens, I think Dark is going to be in a lot of trouble. Cannot afford that to have happen. Bottom left side, again, right, if that is taken by SHOWTIME as well, it's going to be a lot of trouble. I guess in theory, if SHOWTIME takes this base and Dark takes this base, well, no, Dark is still going to be one base less than, isn't it? He would be, yeah. Oof. There's SHOWTIME making a stance. His army seemed to be working pretty well against what Dark has the previous time. But to be fair, Dark really didn't do too much of a battle that round either. He kind of just started walking away. Just a full retreat. Didn't quite like what he saw with the Void Ray, I imagine. As SHOWTIME does a recall to the mothership. Oh, there it is, boys! Oh, that is so cool. Dark caught off guard as well. Looks like a base is going to go down. Some lurkers are going to go down. The Void Ray try their best to minimize the amount that these corruptors can do. That's just too much. The army of SHOWTIME gets absolutely demolished, but he does kill a base. He kills another 11 workers. Dark on a very, very shaky economy right now. He wants to have this base. This base needs to be his. He still doesn't really have a bank. He did manage to get himself back up to 200 supply here. Maybe he didn't really ever leave it that far. SHOWTIME 50 supply off for the moment. We are in desperate need of army supply for SHOWTIME here, as Dark is about double the supply in army, and, well, a lot of it is coming down the track right now. Dark setting up into the ground with those lurkers. A nice surround there, coming in with another Night of Swim, an easy way out of there if he needs to as well. More lurkers showing up. The Hydras on the top right are going to be dealt with. The bottom left side of this screen here, those lurkers are still standing strong. The Corruptors are there. It's not going to be enough on its own, however. And I suppose I kind of like what SHOWTIME has done here. Just kind of foregoing an air army entirely. Those Corruptors, they cannot hit ground, right? So if you now just completely turn everything around, entirely focus on the ground army here as a Protoss, that could put you in a very sudden, quick winning position. But he needs Immortals. Immortals are a very, very cool choice here. I feel like Disruptors most likely would just get harpooned, right? Immortals as well, but you can just afford to get a lot more Immortals. Colossus would get shot by the Corruptors, so they don't work. Then you've got the Carriers, the Tempest. Well, again, air army, right? The Corruptors are just too high in number now to really make something like that happen. So this Immortal Zealot Archon army here with the Storm as well. Let's see if it works. He needs to have this Oracle stay alive so he has a shot of killing those lurkers. However, he does not. So needs to pull away, needs to find a way to get some scouting done in the stealth. There we are. A observer coming up. But yeah, that is a bit of a delay here for him. There's nothing else to see hidden units now. Ooh, another big run by here. Only one singular lurker. Look at the supply of Dark. 140 supply right now. My man, Showtime is looking very sharp now. Dark, it just took him a little bit too long to get his economy up where it really needed to be. To become that invincible Zerg force. And, well, Showtime... Oh, wow, he played it very wisely as well. A very, very smart approach here. Wonderful find mid-game to be able to start adjusting your entire army composition by this extent and then just start turning everything around again. Very cool to see. These two bases still up for grabs. Showtime still with one base lead, remember that. He's had more income throughout this game and, well, he's not been trading as efficiently as Dark, that's true, but it might not matter. Because he might just have himself 2 extra bases. This Nexus does get burned to the ground. Immediately start up again. There's more than enough minerals to justify that. It's the one thing the Corruptors can really do at this point. Leaving your own base with the Lurkers. You know, if you try to get aggressive with the Lurkers, I don't know. You think that Showtime would just go for a base race at that point? I think he might. It's also difficult, right, to not get ambushed by the Protoss army, because the Protoss army is so close by. I guess Lurkers burrow pretty quickly, though, so... This is fascinating. Dark's holding on, but... I don't know, man. I think this could be the start of something, perhaps. Even losing a single game here to Showtime is, I feel like, gonna rub Dark the wrong way. As you can see, he's still being ever so methodical here. With each move of his pieces, he's very methodically spreading the creep. Moving the spore crawlers, inch by inch, having those Corruptors there, continuously looking around. The Queen's in front, ready to transfuse. Just move those Lurkers, just step by step. Now here's the engagement, alright, well, let's see if Dark managed to get it as good as he wanted it to. The Nexus might go down here, the shield battery overcharge is barely keeping it alive. He needs those Archons to shoot the Corruptors. Oh, they don't manage to do so, and the Nexus will go down. And on the bottom left side, another interesting battle happens. Zerglings and Zealots. A StarCraft classic. As well, Dark just has to go deeper into his pockets and try to find some money to get some more of these Lurkers. Showtime also starting to get quite low on the cash for the time being, but he manages to secure this gold base. So if he gets a good amount of probes there, out of the 34 probes that he has remaining, you know, that's still going to be significant. That is still going to be significant. Another attack here for Showtime moving forward. Dark starting to abandon this base as well. Showtime now with a 2-base lead. 2 extra places. Dark needs this space. He desperately has to get it. There's no other way around it now. And preferably, he's going to have to take out one of the bases of Showtime as well. Either this one or this one. I guess the gold base, right? That's definitely the, the best shout there, I'd say. Oh, instead, he's going to lose his own hatchery here. A forced cancel. Before ever been constructed. Showtime with a very nice spread out of his army here. Just trying to poke in wherever the Lurkers seem weakest right now. Again, he sees, okay, only 3 Lurkers. Fantastic. The Immortals will be able to deal with that quite nicely. Moving further forwards. Just taking out whatever he can. Spore Crawlers. The whole shebang. Forest of them. Anyone that sees a Spore Crawler Forest as something that should be protected as a nature site or something like that, well, Showtime would think you're crazy here. He's gonna blow it all to bits. Dark still sending some Zerglings out, but look at that. Zealots there to meet it. Cannons there to show the Zerglings a good time. Single lurker here as well. Yep, these feel like desperate moves of Dark just trying to buy himself a bit of time with the bare minimum to spare. As he is just in trouble and he knows it. He did not manage to successfully kind of change his own army in order to, well, actually combat the mass and mass immortal zealot Archon type of composition here. Nothing on that production tab anymore, guys. These boys are broke. They are trapped for cash. This is just a wall of Dark that is trying to push itself outwards, and then sometimes Showtime just kind of forces it back again. It is fascinating to look to see it happen here. It feels like this is to no insult to the players in a way. It feels like these two types of plants in a garden, right? Just slowly trying to overgrow one another, and then suddenly this one pushes back, and then this one pushes back. Showtime. I mean, he's gotten that advantage, and he's managed to work it. Managed to work that advantage to the fullest. And it has come back to him in many folds. Look at that. About 90 supply ahead over his opponent. Only 10 of that is in workers. The rest of that, all in army supply. Now sure, lurkers are cost effective, but Showtime ain't no fool. He'll be looking for the best opportunities to take, and he's not gonna run in there without being certain that it's, you know, likely to go into his favor. He's a patient man. And even though it might frustrate him a little bit, you know, just sitting on the corner here. Excuse me, by the way. Sitting on the corner here. Not really being able to do something straight away against his opponent. But he's making the right call. More carriers coming up as well. Going back into that makes sense. There's only 2 Corruptors left on the field, and what does Dark have to rebuild any type of anti-carrier force with? This is just in the bag now for Showtime. Just a matter of time. I think Dark is just in denial here that this has happened to him. A European, not even a Korean, right? He's big on the national pride of Korea, just being superior in StarCraft 2, and here he is, losing a 32-minute game to this random, well, not entirely random, one of the better European Protoss players. Has just come in randomly through this Korean qualifier bracket on the Korean servers, and now in the qualifying match up against him, and he's starting to take a map. I mean, it must be some sort of a consolation for Dark, right? That he is already 2-0 ahead, so I mean, it's still Still more likely that he takes the overall victory, but still. Showtime still is one of the best. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, we got max packs, you know, that's kind of muddying the waters a little bit. I'm trying to think of some other ones. I mean, the other one, I mean, it still feels like it's Showtime and it's max packs, right? They're still the heavy-hitting names whenever I think about European Protoss. Which ones are the scariest? But, you know, those things change. Over time, max packs became one of those. And over time, it's, you know, starting to wonder. But then you see games like this and you're like, well, alright, I knew it Showtime. I knew it. You're still as good as you always were, weren't you? Oracle about to be ready. Third base for Dark coming up. Or third base for Showtime as well. Pretty regular pace here for both players. And potentially another macro game. Now the macro game the previous time worked out pretty well for Showtime. And the two games that Dark did win were off the back of a bit more aggressive play. Definitely a place where he was trying to take the initiative of the games into his own hands. Oh, let's follow the circling for a little moment. You've had your moment in the Sun Overlord. It is someone else's time now. It's these circlings, you know, they don't stay alive for too long. So when they are alive, let's give them some screen time, shall we? Apparently 2 drones there. Who knows if they ever got their face on the camera. Born to give a show and never quite make it happen. Rain. Yeah, exactly. That was exactly who I was thinking about. Here we are. Here we are. Three more drones. I mean, these oracles, they're doing work, dude. 5 kills so far, nothing lost for the Protoss. I mean, seems okay to me. Especially if you're going quite economic yourself here with the 3 Nexus, right? It's not like he's miles behind. No, sir. They're on the same work account here, and it's looking okay. Is it just me, or does it just feel like Dark makes less drones than the other Zergs? Doesn't quite feel as comfortable to really have those sudden growth spurts or something. Makes a couple of extra safety nets for himself. Perhaps. Much happening there either. Oracle's coming in for another round, but the Queens, the Spore Crawlers, everything in between, making it quite difficult. And just kind of putting the spray paint on everything. Ooh, that was quite close. One Oracle and 1 HP now, it seems. Yeah, it's 1 HP. calculated. Yeah, 6 more drones do go down here for dark. It's starting to feel a bit troublesome, doesn't it? But then we see the Swarm host again with the Nidusworm, and we know he has a plan to make up for that fact. Now, previous time, definitely things felt a bit harsh for Showtime because he didn't have the army ready. This time around, well, at least he will have Storm, right? That should finish up here. It's very hard to imagine, especially with that Chrono. Now, this is not going to finish up before anything starts hitting him. The Oracles are going to get a little bit of an earlier scout here on this Nidusworm as well. There we go. Can they target it down? That's a really good thing for him because now you just can't go out of that one. Alright, Showtime knows. That's a big deal right there. The first volley of those Locusts already delayed by a significant amount, right? Look at that. Otherwise, this is all one Nidusworm before this. Okay, poking in a little bit, checking where the army is, pinning that army down to that Nexus so that these Locusts have a bit more free range. Only the Templar being sent in, trying to get rid of those Locusts as efficiently as possible. Trying to save that Nexus. Oh dear, that Nexus still goes down. That is a rough one for Showtime. Managed to get the delay. Did he do like a shield battery overcharge? No, he didn't. I guess you could try to do a shield battery overcharge, but it's not a bulletproof solution to every time there's Locust use shield battery overcharge to not lose your Nexus, right? I can see why that's not the solution that Showtime is looking for. I don't think that would work. Alright, Stalker's trading out pretty good now against the Roaches and Ravagers. Getting on top of that Nidusworm. Locust going in for another wave onto this Nexus. This time we do have a shield battery overcharge, but we don't have Storm to well, minimize that DPS coming in. So Showtime, I feel like this is just gonna have to be him moving forwards here. Try to make something happen. Those High Templar cannot afford to lose those. Needs to be ever so careful. Zealot's ready to defend as well. He needs to just keep going, man. He needs to keep that pressure up, right? Does he? Can he afford to stick backwards now after losing 2 Nexi? Let's take a look at the resources we'll stab. It is slightly in favor for Showtime, but the income must be in favor for Dark here, right? We'll take a look at that in a moment. Okay, dodging the biles slightly too late. Must be the latency. And yeah, you can see the income was a bit ahead for Showtime for a while there, so maybe that will equal things out a little bit as well. Showtime struggling to get all this Blink Micro going here. Keeps this Nexus alive. That's a big deal. Another wave. Available soon. And there it is. Okay, it's just gonna... I think you're just gonna have to give up these gates, right? Great splitting on those Locusts. Like, so many times I've seen an enormous amount of Locusts die to 2 Storms and it just being nothing left. And here, I mean, Showtime's throwing down like 4 Storms or something like that. It still feels like these Locusts are getting some good shots in, right? So really nice control from Dark there on those units. Great job from Showtime as well, trying to keep this from killing him. But To be fair, I mean, he's gonna keep this Nexus alive as well. And Dark, again, he hasn't really expanded, right? He hasn't really gone up in the drones all that much. He's still on 64 drones. And the economic advantage has slipped back into Showtime's favor. Dark, he might be digging his own grave here in a way, right? Just by being, I don't, dare I say it, by being a bit lazy at his own economy. Just thinking, no, this was enough, we're gonna finish you off. I mean, I still think he is gonna be able to kill Showtime here. To be fair, he's on 200 supply strong. It's such a massive army. The lurkers are here as well. Like, if he doesn't, if Showtime holds on here... Okay, there we are. GG. It doesn't happen, guys. It doesn't happen. Dark. I mean, it was 130-something army supply strong versus maybe 70. So that was quite a rough one, especially with those lurkers coming in as well. Anyway, Dark manages to qualify in this first spot right here. Showtime, unfortunately, will have to try his luck in the loser bracket. There's going to be 2 more matches, at least, for him waiting there. First the best of 3, and then another best of 5. And who knows what kind of monstrosities he's going to have to face down there.